Welcome, racing fans, to the home of Motorsports Talk. This is the Motorsports Radio Weekend Edition, show number 525. NASCAR at Charlotte this past weekend and this upcoming weekend as well. But NASCAR Camping World Truck Series racing last Friday, North Carolina Education Lottery 200, won by Kyle Busch in the 51 truck. Then on Saturday, a doubleheader for the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, the Monster Energy Open, won by Daniel Suarez in the 19 car, and the winner of the Monster Energy All-Star Race, Kyle Busch, in the 18 M&M Caramel Camry. And there was also NHRA action on Sunday. Last Sunday, the Menards NHRA Heartland Nationals, presented by Minty's Pro Stock winner Tanner Gray, Funny Car winner Ron Capps, Top Fuel winner Antron Brown. In today's program, driver standings, racing news, and this weekend's racing schedule. Big race day coming up on Sunday, but first, the history of the number 18. So as mentioned, Kyle Busch winning the All-Star race. So even though it's a win for JGR, it's a non-points event, so can't be used to get into the playoffs. But Kyle Busch, as mentioned, in the 18 car. But the question is, who else drove the 18 car? Going back to 1949, the NASCAR Strictly Stock Series, John Wright, Chuck Mahoney, Charles Tedwell, Herbert Burns, Wally Campbell, and Jack White. And believe it or not, first win for the 18 wouldn't come until 1993, which it was still known as the Winston Cup Series. Dale Jarrett, who won the 1993 Daytona 500, also one win in 1994, winning the Mellow Yellow 500 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. After Dale Jarrett, it was Bobby Labonte in 1995 through 2005 with 21 wins, 109 top 5s, 176 top 10s, and 259 top 20s. 06 and 07, J.J. Ellie. And then 2008, Kyle Busch takes over. 8 wins in 08. First win on March 9th, winning the Cobalt Tools 500 down in Atlanta, winning 173 laps. Also in 08, the most wins. And then there was that crazy wreck at Daytona for the 2015 Xfinity Series opener, which wound up breaking a leg and being out for a while. And then during that time was Matt Craft and Eric Jones and David Rakin, who would take turns driving the 18 in the Cup Series. Number 18 statistics, October 2nd, 1949 through May 20th, 2017. 1,369 total races, 57 wins, 268 top 5s, 482 top 10s, 851 top 20s, and 43 poles. Total laps, 326,908. Total laps led, 15,890. Source, driveraverages.com. And that's motorsportsradio.net's history of the numbers, history of the number 18. Alright, so a rundown of the current driver standings, just the top 10 as we try to smooth and streamline things here at the weekend edition. Now, no change in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series since last Saturday's race, as mentioned, was a non-points event. But a rundown here: Kyle Busch in first place, Truex Jr. second, Barry Keselowski third, Chase Elliott fourth, Jay McMurray fifth, sixth and seventh is Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch, and 8th through 10th, Jimmy Johnson, Joe Logano, who dropped down to 9th, 10th place, Clint Boyer. Truex Jr. 15 playoff points, 12 for Barry Keselowski, 2 for Chase Elliott, 3 for Kevin Harvick, 2 for Kyle Busch, 10 for Jimmy Johnson, and 1 for Joey Logano. Xfinity Series top 10. NASCAR Xfinity Series returns on Saturday. The last Xfinity Series race was at Talladega, but here it is. First place, Elliott Sadler, Justin Allgaier second, third, William Byron, fourth, Darrell Wallace Jr., and fifth, it's Daniel Hemrick. Sixth, Michael Annett, Matt Tipton, seventh, Ryan Reed, and eighth, ninth is Blake Cook, Brennan Poole in 10th. Elliott Sadler with 2 playoff points, 7 for Justin Allgaier, 1 for Daniel Hemrick, Ryan Reed with 5. So there was definitely a change in the Camping World Truck Series standings as we had a race on Friday. Johnny Sauter in first place, second place Christopher Bell, Matt Craft in third, fourth Chase Briscoe, Ben Rhodes in fifth, and Timothy Peters in sixth, Grant Enfinger in seventh, Kaz Glau is eighth, Ryan Truex in ninth, and Brett Moffitt is in 10th. Johnny Sauter with 3 playoff points, 7 for Matt Crafton, and Kaz Growler with 5. And now IndyCar and Formula 1, since we have some IndyCar and Formula 1 action coming up this weekend. Top 10 for IndyCar, Simon Pagenaud, Scott Dixon in 2nd, Joseph Newgarden in 3rd, 4th is Helio Castroneves, Will Power in 5th, 6th is James Hinchcliffe, Sebastian Bourdais in 7th, out for the season, crazy wreck during qualifying, Ryan Hunter-Reay in 8th place, 9th is Alexander Rossi, Takuma Sato in 10th. Formula 1 top 10, Sebastian Vettel, 1st place, Lewis Hamilton in 2nd, Valtteri Bottas 3rd, Kimi Räikkönen 4th, 5th is Daniel Ricciardo, Max Verstappen in 6th, Sergio Perez in 7th, Esteban Ocon in 8th, 9th place is Felipe Massa Carlos Sainz in 10th. Formula 1 Constructors standing, 1st place is Team Mercedes, Team Ferrari in 2nd, Team Red Bull in 3rd, 4th is Force India, 5th Toro Rosso, Williams Mercedes in 6th, 7th is Team Renault, Haas Ferrari 8th, Sauber Ferrari in 9th, and McLaren Honda in 10th. Robert Yates, a newly inducted Hall of Famer, 74-year-old master engine builder and team owner Robert Yates, currently fighting liver cancer, says, quote, "Right now I feel like I could take a jack pump over the wall and clear the hole. I'd be on the right side like I used to." Robert Yates was the leader in the NASCAR Hall of Fame voting, snatching up 94% of the ballots, the highest since 2011. 2011 was David Pearson, who also had 94%, source NASCAR.com. Robert Yates, owner of Yates Racing, fielding the 28 car back in the day, driven by Dave Allison, the 38 car driven by David Gilliland, and back in the day the 88 car, which was driven by Dale Jarrett, and also the 98 car driven by Stephen Lake and Paul Menard. Source Wikipedia. Okay, I must always gotta be a little weary when you go to the Wikipedia, but Richard Petty Motorsports will take over for the 2010 season. Yates Racing and Richard Petty Motorsports would emerge after the 2009 season. So motorsportsradio.net wanted to do some more research, so we headed to our go-to source, our favorite, driveraverages.com. Yates Racing has been since 1989 through 2009, 1,154 races and 57 wins, the most wins in 1997 with 8 in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. That would be Dale Jarrett, 8 wins in 64 races. Yates Racing statistics: 269 top 5s, 432 top 10s, and 693 top 20s. Total laps 330,318. Total laps led 16,015. Statistics from February 19th, 1989 through November 22nd, 2009. And now for an Eric Almirola update. Eric Almirola saying he waited a whole day before watching the video of that Kansas wreck. The latest they're saying is 2 months before he can return to racing, 8 to 12 weeks. Almirola watching the video says, "I wanted to see it, but I didn't want to see it that night. I watched the replay so I could see it for myself, and I wanted to see it so I had a better understanding. Everything happened so fast in the moment, so I was pretty sure how it went down, but not exact of all the details. When you go back and watch the replay, it kind of clarified all things. The thing I was most amazed with is how high my car got off the ground." And that was a crazy wreck, and they showed the video where the back tire actually went up and inside the car when it came back down. So that was pretty crazy. Amarillo pointed out that he ran over water and oil from Danica Patrick's and Joey Logano's car and diminished all hopes of steering away. And Danica Patrick's car, Dale Jr. on his property has a spot where he has a collection of wrecked NASCAR race cars, and the 10 car from that race at Kansas was added to the collection. Eric Garrett was saying the car didn't slow down. He at one time said it was like running on railroad tracks. It just slid right into the wreck, and he said there was nothing that he could do. And so he said that when the car came down, when he hit the car, it felt like someone put a knife in his back. And then when the car came back down, because he hit Logano's car, back went up, came back down, and then he says that it felt like the knife was being turned. So some crazy stuff there. So 2 months And there was that interview with he was getting interviewed by Jeff Gordon, and the doctor says you should not don't be going out there until the T5 vertebra can't be messed with till it's totally healed, because it could be some serious stuff if it gets re-injured. Sebastian Bourdais, as we just mentioned, he's out for the season. The driver of the 18 car at IndyCar News, who was involved in a crazy wreck during Indy 500 qualifying last Saturday and suffered multiple fractures in his pelvis and a fractured right hip. This is according to Sky Sports. Traveling over 200 miles an hour, made hard contact with the outside wall, started rolling, and eventually ended up in the backstretch. Incident coming out of turn 2. Bourdais underwent some pelvic surgery, according to Associated Press, and he says that he's thankful for everyone's support. I believe he was released from the hospital. That was the latest news I got earlier on today. So they're saying he'll be most likely be missing the rest of the season, and James Davidson will be filling in the meantime. So we hope that Sebastian Bourdais gets better. Now this one we went over. I don't remember if it was last week. As we all know, we did mention this. The Coca-Cola 600, which is coming up this Sunday, the longest race on the NASCAR circuit, 400 laps, 600 miles. NASCAR did announce that it was going to be 4 stages, so it's going to be 4 stages on Sunday. Each stage is going to be 100 laps each. When the schedule was originally announced, when the stages were announced for the season, it was originally going to be 115 laps for stages 1 and 2, and then 170 for stage 3. So they added that 4th stage. So again, 4 stages, and all of them will be 100 laps each. Coverage at beginning at 6 o'clock, and we'll have the schedule ready to roll for you in a moment. Now, everyone was talking about that resin that they've been using at Bristol to help the car get some grip, right? They've been applying it along the inside groove there, the low line, if you will. Well, they'll be using that same resin at Charlotte this weekend. This is according to Motorsport.com. Its technical name is VHT resin, also known as PJ1 track bite. The resin has been applied, and I think it goes on in layers or something. I don't know the whole process. From what I've been reading, it sounds like they got to keep putting more and more on there until it gets pretty good. But it's going to be on the outside wall going into the turns. And the NASCAR officials will be monitoring the tire wear and see if the drivers actually will use that outside groove. So keep an eye on that, and I'm sure the guys on Fox will be talking about that on Sunday. Austin Dillon's number 3 team in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series is getting a new crew chief. Justin Alexander is set to replace Richard Sluggo Robbie. This was announced by Richard Childress Racing on Monday, source NASCAR.com. According to Motorsport.com, Richard Robbie left the organization to, quote, pursue other opportunities. Justin Alexander was serving as crew chief for the number 2 Xfinity Series team and holds a degree in mechanical engineering from North Carolina State. So, go Wolfpack. Randall Burnett will be taking over the number 2 team. Randall Burnett also holds a mechanical engineering degree from UNC Charlotte. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, this is going to be some big news right here. Red Horse Racing has suspended operations due to lack of funding, source Fox Sports. Red Horse Racing fields the number 7 and the 17 trucks, the 7 driven by Brett Moffitt, the 17 Timothy Peters. And last Friday's North Carolina Education Lottery 200, Timothy Peters finished in 5th. First top 5 finish of the season, Brett Moffitt finished in 18th. Red Horse Racing statistics, 532 starts in 13 seasons, 16 wins, 14 poles, 112 top 5s, and 236 top 10s. And it's drivers to the booth, the TV booth. NASCAR Xfinity Series racing from Pocono Raceway, which is scheduled for June 10th, the Pocono Green 250. The race will be called by Cup Series drivers. Fox will be covering the race and made the announcement on Friday. I think it was last Friday, but Darrell Waltrip says the entire race is going to be called completely by active Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series drivers. and he says they're going to take over. And so this should be interesting. Here it is. Kevin Harvick, Joe Logano, and Clint Boyer will be doing the play-by-play. And then we're going to have Ryan Blaney